Yo, what's up? My name's Goodwin, and welcome to my videos. So let me tell you guys what's going on. I know I've been gone for a while. Fortunately, life has had many obstacles for me to overcome recently. But good news is I've overcame them. I know I've said this a million times, but we're back. No, for real. I am really going to make YouTube my #1 priority right now. Now, with that being said, a lot of you guys have been asking me about my truck, and the last thing you guys heard was that I had to rebuild the Kings, but none of you guys don't know what happened after that. So I'll tell you, I did some sketchy shit on it, you know. Don't recommend what I did to anybody else. #1, it was really hard to do. #2, I scratched up my coilovers pretty decently, which doesn't matter to me, but you know, if you have brand new coilovers, you don't want to scratch them up. So previously I told you guys that I had bought 10-inch coilovers. Now, after doing everything I've done to them, I actually believe they were 8-inch coilovers, just based on a few different things. And now they're sitting at around 14 inches. So obviously you're not supposed to be sitting at 14 inches with 8-inch coilovers, but I managed to make it happen. And I did that with a combination of a few things. So I'll go ahead and show you in a couple seconds when I walk over to my truck. But basically, so on this specific coilover that I have, which I believe is an 8-inch coilover, you're supposed to have 22 inches of spring. So when I bought these coilovers, they were set up with a 16-inch spring and a 6-inch spring on top. And the spring rates were just a little bit too soft, so when I dropped the truck, it sat at an 8-inch lift pretty much. If I was gonna be at an 8-inch lift, it would have been perfect. But I'm stubborn and I wanted to go higher and whatever. So I ended up buying 2 stiffer springs, 10-inch and a 12-inch spring, that were much stiffer than the springs I had before. And I assumed that when I dropped the truck on the really stiff springs, it wouldn't drop as much. I was wrong, and it dropped a ton still. So what I ended up doing is leaving that brand new 10-inch spring that I bought on the top, and I compressed the hell out of the old 16-inch spring and got it on the coilover. So now I have 26 inches of spring when I'm only supposed to have 22 inches of spring on a coilover, which means that that bottom spring is already compressed so much that when I drop the truck, it only compressed another inch or so, which gives me that ride height that I'm at. So that's why I'm saying I don't recommend it. It works, it rides fine, but technically it's not the right way to do it. And it was a pain in the ass. Oh my gosh. Getting those bottom springs on, probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Oh my god, I never want to do that again. And those springs are never coming off those coilovers. So whoever buys these off rip, I'm telling them that this is the height that you're staying at no matter what. If you want to mess with them, you can mess with them. I am not touching them. So let me walk over here and show you what we got going on. So at the top right here, you can see that's the 10-inch spring, and it's barely compressed, and I'll tell you why in a second. At the bottom, this is the 16-inch spring. This is the one that I compressed like 4 inches, even more, to get that bottom piece on. And so that right now is already compressed. It makes the truck sit extremely high. Like I said, approximately like 14-inch lift or so. I love it. It looks so sick. So let me tell you exactly what I did. Like I said, I compressed the hell out of this bottom spring to get it on. Now you can see it has a good amount of scratches and nicks and stuff. It doesn't bother me, but I can see how it definitely bothers somebody else. Now these rings right here, these rings are meant, ow, I just like stabbed myself. These rings are meant to be not right here, up more, so that when you're sitting at normal ride height, both your springs are in play. And when you hit a big enough bump, this little ring right here will hit these rings and then take this top spring out of play. The top spring is supposed to be a lighter spring, which gives it better ride quality. And then once it gets to the point where you know you're hitting bumps big enough to maybe bottom this one out, it should stop this one from coming in and only be on the stiffer lower spring. Now I put these all the way down so that when I put this spring on, it stops it immediately, and effectively it gives it a higher ride height. So on top of compressing this spring to give me extra ride height and setting these rings right here to give me even more ride height, I also added this extended bottom rod end. It's dark right here. So this is 2 inches longer than stock. Usually they stop like right here, and you can see a normal rod end on pretty much every other truck like ever in the world. No one does this. These are made, I don't know why they're made, but I know a lot of trucks with independent front suspension have like arms that go right here or whatever, so it needs to be thin to clear those arms. Now I'm not sure if that's what these are for, but to make it simple, it just gives me an extra 2 inches of ride height. So all that combined gives me around a 14-inch lift in the front. I love it. Now, it's not done yet. Because I've stretched an 8-inch lift this far, my 4-link arms are now slightly too short. So I thought a lot about what to do about this. I'm sitting under my truck right now because it's so hot. But anyways, I thought a lot about what to do about the 4-link arms. Like, should I just get longer ones? Like what do I do? Should I just upgrade to the whole long arm kit, which I would love to do, but it's very expensive. And after measuring nicks and taking a bunch of pictures and comparing, I realized that all I really need is this drop bracket right here. So the simplest way to put it, where you guys can understand, my 2 4-link arms bolt here. On nicks, this bracket goes all the way down and they bolt here, which means that 1, these are not at such a crazy angle, and 2, once they're dropped down more, they push the axle out, which gives me more caster, which fixes what I now have, death wobble, which sucks. So yeah, my truck does have death wobble now. I think it's because of the suspension geometry. I mean, some of my ball joints are toast, but I didn't get death wobble until I raised the truck more, and I'm assuming that the caster is really what's messing it up. So I bought the drop bracket. It should push the whole front axle far enough where it corrects the geometry, at least enough to not have death wobble anymore. And you know, really we'll just go from there and see how that goes. So actually, to my surprise, when I did measure my 4-link arms compared to Nick's 4-link arms, mine are actually longer. Mine are like an inch longer top and bottom, which was really interesting because this is an 8-inch lift, or these are from an 8-inch lift. It's not an 8-inch lift anymore. And Nick's are from a 10-inch lift. So the drop bracket gives that much more like length because it's dropped that. I feel like pretty much all I'm saying is with the drop bracket, I feel like I won't need extended arms. Now diameter wise, these are like 1 3/4 inches, which I feel are a little bit skinny. Nick's are 2 inches. Usually the bigger, beefier ones are 2 inches. I mean, they're gonna be fine, but ideally I feel like you'd want a 2-inch diameter. So these issues are, so the 4-link issue is definitely an issue that I knew I'd run into. I was prepared for it. The only other issue I thought I'd have when I lifted my truck this high is the drag link. So this is a stock drag link, and it's not designed for probably anything over an 8-inch lift. Mine's extended quite a bit, but at the same time, it still has a good amount of thread in there. So you can see mine's pretty extended. Ideally, I guess you'd want one that's doesn't have to be extended this much, but it works. So I'm leaving it for now, and you can see it's sturdy. Like, obviously me shaking it probably won't show anything, but it's sturdy. My steering wheel is straight, everything is good. I haven't had problems with it. The ball joint, on the other hand, is toasted, but it's been like that for a while. This one is toasted, this one's toasted, the ones over there are toasted. This track bar ball joint is brand new though, so it's very nice and doing its job. I actually have replacements for these, but I'm too lazy to mess with those, at least for right now. So other than that, so I lifted my truck, right? Looks super sick, super big in the front. Awesome, super happy with it. Then I started looking at it every day. I'm like, damn, like the rear is just not high enough. Because keep in mind, now I'm sitting at, I don't know, 7-inch lift in the back and a 14 in the front. That thing's pointing to the sky, right? I love lean just as much as the next guy loves lean, but to a certain extent. It looked so dumb. Like, I can only imagine driving down the road and it just looks like I'm pointing at the sky. So I decided to buy a 2-inch block, and I threw the 2-inch block in the rear. So I bring it up a little bit. It still leans like 4 inches. It looks really, really good. I got it to sit literally exactly how I want it. I'm so happy with how it looks. I threw in the 2-inch block. I thought it'd be easier to throw in the 2-inch block than it really was. Kind of had some issues that I'm not going to mention. There's a block right there, super easy. I used the same U-bolts. Well, when I installed the lift kit, the U-bolts came designed to use the stock block, which I believe is 2 inches as well. and I took it out. So these U-bolts are actually perfect length, and I only had to buy the block, which was super cheap, and it went in there perfectly fine, I guess you could say. I don't know about easy, but it went in there, and now my truck sits super nice. It's a little bit higher in the rear. Looks good. So the thing was, when I lifted the front and the back, it was lifted, but because the front was so high, it looked like I didn't even have a lift kit in the rear. It looks so dumb. I don't know if you'll really be able to get a good idea of how big the truck is and how it sits, but it looks really good. It's super big. I actually got told yesterday that I can't go in someone's neighborhood because it was over the height limit, which is stupid. That's no joke. I had a full-blown argument yesterday with a stupid security guard because my truck was over the height limit, which is, I literally wasn't even, I don't live there. I wasn't even visiting. I was picking someone up and leaving. Literally had a 30-minute argument with this stupid guy just literally trying to cause issues with me. But anyways, so that's how the truck sits right now. Sitting around 14 in the front. I would say 10 in the back. 9 or 10 in the back. Now I want to know from you guys, what should I do next? Daytona Truck Meet is coming up pretty soon. I have a couple more things to do on the truck. But like, as far as videos, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see like rolling clips? Which that would be very hard for me to film, but I can definitely figure it out. Like, do you want me to do a smoke switch? High idle switch? Those are some of the things I was thinking about doing in the past. I mean, other than that, I have to paint the tailgate. Once that bracket comes in for the 4-link, I'll be doing that. I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm pretty much buttoning up the truck, getting ready to start a new build. But what do you guys want to see? Like, just literally tell me what you want to see. I'll make a video about it. Like I said, I'm really trying to get more into the YouTube and focus a lot of my energy on YouTube. It's progressing really well, and I'm really happy with how everything's progressing. And I just, overall, I just want to focus on it. I think there's good future and good potential in my YouTube channel. Other than that, cutting out. Hope you guys understand what I did in my coil. Oh, if you have any questions about my coilovers or what I did exactly, I'll be more than happy to explain everything. Just DM me on Instagram. You can comment on YouTube, but it's really rare for me to go through all the comments like that. There's so many comments, and a lot of them are negative, so sometimes I just don't go through them at all. Definitely DM me on Instagram is the best way to get in contact with me. It's at Goodwin26. Give me a day or two to reply. As long as it's not a dumb question, I'll answer it. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all hopefully pretty soon.
Peace. Why they wanna be me, it's not what it seems. Running to the bank, putting wet on my Achilles. We been thumbing blue faces like they Washingtons. On a run from MIA up to Washington.